First of all, I want to thank you, man, for taking this time to come out and share with me and the rest of the world. I sent you a text after the first victory in the first four, and I met you. I think I met you when you first came on, and I had an AU basketball team, and you granted us opportunity to practice in here, and it was no arrogance. It was welcoming, and that spirit has just carried on. It hadn't changed since day one. How did you wind up in Grambling? I mean, because you're not from here, so how did you wind up in Grambling?
No, I'm not from here. I'm born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Just a little story about my background. So, graduated from Alexander Hamilton, had a chance to go play at Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Played there for 2 years, and then had a chance to transfer to Central State University. Central State University is the place I call home. Gave me my foundation to become a man and helped me start my coaching career. After Central State, I ended up meeting this guy in Dayton, Ohio named Paul Bryant, and he became an incredible mentor. And he ended up offering me an opportunity to come to Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I went to Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama with Mr. Bryant. And then he became the AD here at Grambling, and he offered me the opportunity to become the Grambling. And him and President Gallo gave me this chance to, become the Grambling State University head men's basketball coach, and everything else is history now.
You've had success since you've been here. You kind of came on, the program has been successful for your tenure. So, and I'm sure that other schools have reached out to you and said, hey, what has made you stay, or have they reached out to you?
Oh yeah, there's been other institutions that's reached out, but I mean, Grambling is family. It's a different type of environment, and growing up in HBCU and having that culture of HBCU where family is important, I think it's just important for me to keep being, one of the guys that keep promoting the brand.
And what does the exposure do for recruiting? I mean,
phone is ringing off the hook. I mean, text messages from all across the country, from my assistant coaches to me. We're getting a lot of kids that's already in the transfer portal reaching out to us, and it's just totally different than how it's been in the past. And it's nothing like having national exposure, being in the NCAA tournament, because everybody want to be part of a winning program.
What person or group of people do you feel like is most proud? I know your family's proud of you, but who do you feel like you've made the most proud? And it could be your family, but
probably my family, my mom, my uncle, my wife, my kids, and my Grambling family. I think this is an extended part of me and my family. Being here at Grambling, and even my Central State family. The guys I grew up with. Helped become a man with, and friends from Central. I mean, I've got a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, but I mean, besides my wife, the most important one might have been Vice President Harris calling. So like that was an incredible moment, something I wasn't quite ready for, but I wish they'd have told me in advance. But it was incredible to speak to the Vice President of America.
And that was one of my questions. I'm like, what is that? I mean, okay, yeah, the president of Grambling may call you, text from me, text from other alumni and so forth, but what is that? I mean, could you even fathom having a call from the Vice President of the United States? Well, what was that like? Take us from that, because my wife even asked, how did she get his number?
Yeah, it was crazy, because the night before that, somebody made some calls saying, hey man, I think the Vice President want to talk to you. I'm like, the Vice President? Like, yeah, well, whatever. Like, I was a joke. I'm thinking it's a joke or whatever, because we had just beat Montana State, and we're packing the lead to go to Indianapolis from Dayton. So it's like a hurry up, packing, let's get on the bus. Now we got to go to Dayton and get ready for another game. And then Dr. Scott came over and was like, hey man, I need you to get the team ready at a moment's notice. I need you to get the team ready at a moment's notice. I'm like, okay. So then he calls, he's like, hey coach, I need you down here. So then I'm like, all right, let me call everybody. I need everybody downstairs ASAP. So all my coaches are like, oh man, who got in trouble? And I'm like, I don't think nobody in trouble, but Dr. Scott saying we need to come down. And then he was like, hey man, somebody wants to talk to you. Like, who wants to talk to me? And he hands me over the phone, and it's the Vice President of the United States of America, somebody that, that's an HBCU grad, somebody that we are proud to have in that seat, and it's the first woman and somebody my daughter can look up to. So I was just like, wow, this is amazing.
And you spoke about your wife, and thinking back watching the game, I'm not sure if it was which game it was. If it was Purdue game or the game before. But your wife got a lot of your wife probably got more screen time than you did.
You know, the thing of it is that she's the biggest supporter, and she's been my biggest supporter throughout this whole journey. And when we met umpteen years ago, you tell her, hey, I'm gonna be a coach, and I'm gonna be a big time coach. This is my dream, man. It ain't nothing like somebody supporting your dream, and moving from Ohio to Alabama to Louisiana, and we just picking up, moving, and trying to continue success. So she has been just as part of my coaching tree as any one of my coaches, because when I go home, I got to hear from the real Coach Jackson about who I should have subbed in and who I should have subbed out.
But I want to ask you about sacrifice. I know your son, he's a basketball player also. So describe to me, I know a couple of coaches that have kids that play high school ball or ball in general, but how do you deal with that? Because I know you a lot of games you don't get to go to because you're either on the road or y'all have a game that, how do you deal with that? And how does your son accept that, you know, and embrace what you do and you embrace what he does?
Well, the thing of it is that I try to watch as many games as possible. Whether I'm in the gym, whenever I'm at home, I'm going to the game. It's not a game that I miss when I'm at home. Or I try not to miss very many AAU games throughout the summer, because that's when I kind of can recruit and be different places. But the tough part about that is when I am gone, but I still try to watch the game film and try to help critique him. I try not to coach him too much, because that's just his coach job. And I just try to be somebody who's more supportive and letting him know the things that he can do better. You know, like one thing I always tell him, control what you can control. You can control your effort, you can control your intensity level, you can control if you're listening to the coach, you can control if you understand the defensive scheme, control what you can control. I can't tell you you're gonna make jump shots every day, I can't tell you how much you're gonna score. But if you playing hard, good things happen for you. So, you know, just having my son, you know, I love getting in the gym with him, I love being able to spend time with him, and now that he's getting older, you know, the conversations are kind of, you know, ain't always about basketball, it's just about him becoming a man.
I know he has one more year, but what would it mean to have your son play for you at Grambling?
I mean everything. Like for him to be able to be on this team, for us to be here together. I mean, I'd have missed a lot of his career, you know, just because I'm a basketball coach, and be able to watch him and just watch him develop and be able to coach him the way I feel that he needs to be coached, and push him the way I need him to be pushed would be great. So, you know, I love my son. You know, I love my kids. You know, the reason why I sacrifice and do a lot of this is just for them, so they can have a better life than, you know, I had growing up. So.
In order to be great, you have to make sacrifice. I mean, you know, before, when I was setting up for this interview, you had a player still putting up shots. And the season is over, but those are the kind of sacrifices that he could either be at home or, you know, be on TikTok, Twitter, whatever the kids do. But describe those sacrifices because I know it wasn't just, a lot of kids say they want it, but then that wasn't a sacrifice, so they have to be kind of pushed. So tell me about how you got the players to buy in.
Well, I think that's the main thing we do. You know, everybody got to be a star in their role, and whatever it comes down to your role, that's what you got to be great at. And throughout the year, it's tough because, you know, we had new guys, and you're trying to redefine roles, and roles are getting redefined as the season go on. But in the back of my mind, I had an idea how it's supposed to go. But the tough part of it is they have to accept how it's supposed to go. And it took a little fighting. It took a little teeth pulling early, but as time went on and the success started happening, everybody started buying in. And that's the tough part about having a really talented team, that you have multiple people that can do multiple things, but this person may be the best at it. And sometimes you have to accept and just wait till your number called. And that's a prime example of Jamel Cofer in the Montana State game, coming in off the bench, getting 19 points. You know, Jamel Cofer's a big-time player. It's just tough at times. You play behind Kentavious Dozier, who's probably one of the better scorers in the league, and then you play behind Zahai Mumford, a fifth-year senior. But not to say that Jamel Cofer isn't better than those guys. At the end of the day, it was just the right fit for this team this year. And hopefully we can keep a guy like Cofer growing into being a big-time player like we expect him to be.
A lot of people counted Grambling out. Say Grambling gonna lose in the first round. I heard people say Grambling gonna lose in the first round, and you know, it honestly it got me upset. 'Cause I'm like,
I keep the receipts.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So like, what do you say about the people who who counted you out?
But that's been my whole life. My whole life has been somebody counting you out, somebody not giving you a chance, somebody making an assumption before, letting things happen. So I know that reality, like I tell our guys, you got to be better. And that's just the reality of our situation as black men in this country. You got to be better. So I tell them, no, nobody expects us to win, but we know how hard we work. We know what we put into this, and rule number one to everything we do is find a way you can win. You got to find a way. Tough part of it is you're gonna lose some games in life, but the more you figure out how to win in life, the better you'll be.
And you spoke about finding a way to win. What was that pep talk like? 'Cause I mean, in the first 4, I know we went in the locker room, we were down, I think 9, And what was that pep talk like? Because it's a big stage. A lot of them, I don't think, I may be wrong, but I don't know if any of the guys have ever been on a stage that big in front of that many people.
Yeah.
That in itself, not just the Final Four, but just playing in front of that many people. I mean, because you can come to the gym and hit shots all day long, but when you got people booing and the energy is there, what was that pep talk like to keep the guys in the game?
Well, it really wasn't much. It was a different halftime for us because the halftime was 20 minutes instead of a standard game, 15 minutes. And by the time I walked in the locker room, they kind of had figured it out. They fussing and fighting between each other and figure out who should do what should be happening. And when I walked in, I told them the reality of the situation is we're down because of us. We're not down because of them. This is a us problem. It's our turnovers. It's our missed layups. That's beating us. I said, now if we come down, and I said, and the fact that they just shot lights out, like y'all contested shots, it can't happen in the second half. I said, we have to pick our intensity up. We got to take our intensity to another level, and we got to correct the things, the self-inflicted wounds. We got to correct that. And once we did that, we took off from there.
Grambling's always had the culture of winning when it comes to football. The legacy of Edey Robinson.
But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I would refute that. And I would say because Coach Homney had an incredible history of winning here, and basketball has been really, really good. We just had some lean years where it just wasn't as good as it could have been. And unfortunately, that was a tough part due to the new APR rules that had happened, and we suffered some different things because of that. But in the whole, Grambling has an incredible history of basketball, an incredible history of what Coach Hobley's done and what the atmosphere he created for guys to be able to go to the NBA like Willis Reed and Larry Wright and Aaron James. So we have history here in basketball. We're just making new history.
And I think the season that we had, I wanted to say the season that we had, I think now the basketball is getting the notoriety again, because it's been there, but I think with the culture of social media and the way people hear about things, I think now it's getting a spotlight on it.
Yes.
I
think so too. But after last season, this season, winning 45 games in 2 years, that's pretty good for any program, and 2 regular season titles with it. That's pretty good right there.
How does this accomplishment measure with the timeline? Because I know when you came in, I don't know if you came in the first year and said, I want to get to the NCAA tournament. Did you have a timeline, a plan for development? Because it takes time to build a program up to.
So I thought year 4 or 5, we'd have done it. I never thought about COVID being into play, so take that out of play. That was kind of a little setback, but I felt like we was always trending in the right direction. You don't expect to go win the championship, your regular season title, your first year, you win it, and then unfortunately we had APR restrictions and we couldn't do anything but kind of sit and watch. And that was a tough tournament to watch because all those teams you had beat. You turn back around, you kind of got the program rolling. We've been in the top 3, 4, throughout my time being here. And then COVID set in and, we had a rough season after COVID. And you kind of had a chance to reset and get an idea of what you can do and what you can't do.
Right. Those early losses that we had early in the season, me and my coworker, you talked about the last game Purdue had and how they just destroyed, you know, and I was like, man, I said Grambling played much better than the team. So I asked that question to say if we had a higher ranking, a higher seeding, then I think we were 16. What do you think that puts us in the tournament as far as the longevity of how long we in the tournament?
It's hard to say. You know, when you get to the tournament, everything good. You know, somebody either won their conference championship or had the right to be there because they won so many games throughout the season. And, you know, it's hard to guesstimate what we could have did, if this could have happened, if that could have happened. We got our draw. You know, we won a game. Unfortunately, we lost a game. We end up in the NCAA tournament, 500. We can live with that.
Yeah. How do you live up to the expectation now? Because now, you know, once you start winning, people expect you to continue to win.
Well, that's my expectation.
Yeah.
Hey, when I got here, we was winning, and that's my expectation. It's funny because when I was at Stillman, we had an incredible run. My first year, we won the regular season title. Second year, we won the regular season title and tournament title. The third year, we won the NAIA independent title because we won Division II no more. We couldn't go to the tournament. So, and then I get here, and the first year we win at Grambling in the regular season title. So our expectation is winning. You know, we're gonna keep the same, you know, we're gonna keep the main thing. Right. You know, try to go 1-0 in every game we compete in. And that's just, you know, that's just how I feel about, you know, how I feel about the game. You can't look at the whole season. You just gotta just win what's in front of you, right, and take it one step at a time, one possession at a time.
Mm-hmm. Have you had time to look at what areas we can improve in, what areas need to be worked on to get better?
To be honest, I haven't had a lot of time to reflect. You know, I'm just kind of trying to catch up on rest right now. But I mean, I'll have that period of time where we'll go through and try to get better and try to see what we can reflect on. Now, we're always talking as a coaching staff daily about what can improve, where we can go, where we need to get better at, where we need to see growth at. But right now, and I just want, you know, we're in the recruiting right now, and we end up trying to build the best team we can build for next year.
Yeah. Your coaches have pretty much stayed consistent. A lot of the guys that you are still here, I think only a few have left. What keeps that bond together? What keeps you guys?
Well, I'll tell you, there ain't nothing like coaching cohesiveness. Having guys here, like Coach Jones, been here 7 years with me, and, you know, we've been able to, you know, every day kind of let our iron sharpen iron together, and, you know, help him grow as a coach. He helped me grow as a coach, and then be able to add in Coach Walker, who's been here for 2 years, be able to add in Coach Prather. You know, it's just, you know, we're just bringing a lot of guys to the table that has an idea of what I want to do and where I want to push this program to. And it's just incredible to have that cohesiveness and everybody be on the same page about winning. Because I think, you know, when the players see the coaches on the same page about winning and they get the same message, then it helps everybody as a whole in the program.
You have anything you want to say?
I mean, this has been an incredible run. Just something that I would love to duplicate year in and year out. You know, it's just been special. You know, even coming to Grambling has been special. It's been in our culture, one of the most prominent HBCUs, and to let the world see just where we are and how we play basketball, and, you know, receive the compliments from all the different reporters and things of that nature it's just been a blessing. So proud of where we are, you know, thankful, you know, every day to had this opportunity. So just want, you know, Gram fam, you know, if you can support, man, let's pack this gym out next year.
Right, yeah. Let me ask you one more question. Any more unexpected phone call or text from anybody that you weren't expecting?
Not really. I mean, not really at the level of the Vice President of America. Now, right. I mean, not at that level, but
because I heard Magic Johnson call.
Yeah, Magic Johnson reached out on text message. I mean, on Twitter and things of that nature. I mean, that's You know, you get coach, you know, the coaches from around the state reaching out, like Ron Hunter from Tulane, Coach Marlin at Louisiana Lafayette, you know, Coach Hester at La Tech. You know, it's just great to have, you know, those other head coaches reaching out because it just lets you know you're doing something right. And I mean, that's really been about it. You know, colleagues that you got the utmost respect for. You know, when a good friend of mine, TJ Ossenberger at Iowa State reaches out, I mean, it's always a good thing.
Okay. The Purdue game. What do you think happens if we have a 7-footer, a 7'4" guy?
Yeah, you know, this is the thing about that, right? Zach Edey is probably the best player in the country when it comes to college basketball. The tough part of it is if we were 10 to 15 years ago, he'll be the #1 pick in the NBA draft. The tough thing is that the game has graduated so much to a skill game in the NBA that some of the bigs that's really big and don't move as well as people may think they should move are kind of getting relegated and kind of pushed out of the game. But Zach Edey is a special player. I mean, if we had a 7-footer, yeah, we might have been able to cause some different issues, but I feel like John Aku did a great job. Malik Lamine did a great job. The tough part of it is that we just ain't have enough fouls to go around. So, you know, Zach Edey, you know, he's special. You got to give credit to special players. I mean, we could have had 2 more 7-footers. He probably still would have did what he would have did. So what? Instead of having 30 and 21, he might have had 27 and 19. Like, hey, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, he is a special player.
Yeah. You got any predictions for the Final Four?
Listen, I'm hoping Purdue win it. At least we lost to the best team in the country. I'm hoping Purdue win.
Okay.
But you know, honestly, I love UConn. I love what UConn do. And it's just about matchups and who get hot at the right time.
Yeah.
You know, I think Purdue is good because of Zach. They're gonna have a big test with coming up with Gonzaga. And that'll be a tough one.
Always.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one.
Yeah. All right, man. Look, I thank you for your time. Man.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
All right.